Hello, everyone. Once again, good morning, good evening, good afternoon experience in the industry. And we were yesterday talking about the Easy 500 IAM and your Azure Active Directory itself. Okay. So it is actually the day two of our particular discussion onto the your cloud and all. So this is actually the agenda for my day two over here. So in the day two, what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to talk about securing networking in Azure. We'll be talking about the NSG and Azure Firewall. We'll be talking about the implementing NSG for virtual network, introduction to the Azure Firewall and basic configuration. Then there is going to be the your security operations in Azure. We'll talk about the Defender for cloud, monitoring security threat, key vaults. So all these are going to be the topic for today's particular day over here. And guys, I know that there are a lot of concepts that is going on over here. So what we can do is we can just simply go ahead and like obviously we can't just go into the each thing and go to everything hands on, but I will try to go ahead and give you a very fair amount of idea into these particular kind of the concepts that is going to be in there. Now when I'm talking about all this scenario over here, we'll be starting with the today the first topic is going to be like networking, energy, firewall, what are the firewall option and all these things. Now, before we start with that, like yesterday, and to help us with the firewall and energy demos as well, one thing that we are going to require that is going to be my particular resource that I am going to require a resource which I can create, and with the help of that resource, I can go ahead and I can simply with that resource, I'm going to go ahead and there I will be utilizing NSG and I will be creating a bit of a firewall as well with that particular scenario itself. So for that, what we are going to do is, first of all, we will be jumping into the your portal, and I will be showing you with that resource. And what we will be doing, I will be again deploying a very simple thing, which is a virtual machine. Great. So what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead now, and we are just going to simply create the your resources as well, right? So in this one, what we are going to do is, okay, what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and we are going to work around the your resources as well. So for that particular one, okay. So first, what we are going to do is we will be creating a virtual machine. Let's say that you want to create, or it will be very similar to what. Let's say that you want to go ahead in the market and purchase a resource itself. You want to purchase something like your uh, let's say a server where you want to install something like Windows Server 2022, and with that Windows Server 2022 you want to install something like IS server on that. A very simple demo you might have seen if you have joined some of my older session as well. You might have seen the same demo. So if you remember that, we'll be doing the same thing again, and we'll be understanding the rules of the NSGs over here, what it means and how it will be working. So first of all, we'll be creating a resource. So when we are creating a resource, so like yesterday, I was telling you that it is going to require, for right now, I'm going to create a virtual machine. So instead of purchasing a hardware from the market, what I'm doing, I'm going to the Azure saying that I want to create a virtual machine. And that virtual machine, I will define that it will be charged, the machine that I'll be creating, you will be charging it against this sponsorship. Okay, this my subscription, which is the Azure Pass sponsorship program over here. Now, with that, we can create a new resource group, giving it the name your AZ500 webinar. Okay, and in this group, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a virtual machine with the name virtual machine AZ500. Okay, demo one. Okay, or I just leave it at the as the AZ500 over here and webinar. Right now, I will be deploying it in the East US. Right now, just I'm simply selecting no infrastructure redundancies. I want it as a standard type of a virtual machine where I'm happy. You can see a multiple of the operating system images that is there, and I'm demanding all these things from my service providers. Now what I will do, if you want more, you can go ahead and you can click on see all images, and you can get a heap of the different operating system images over here. Whatever is your requirement, you can find it in your marketplace. I'm happy with the Windows Server 2022 data center Azure edition hot patch cross 64 gen 2 image over here. And as it is saying, its VM architecture will be cross 64. But if you would have selected something like the Ubuntu server, you will have both option, ARM 64 architecture you want or cross 64. It's just up to you. But I'm happy with the your 2022 data center. So Windows is only available with your cross 64 architecture. Now there is going to be size. So if you want to know, learn more about the size here, this I information button you can go. You can click on these links and they will be taking you to the part where you can deploy the different resources itself. So different size, you can read about them, different families that is going to be over there, their type, general purpose, computer optimized, why they are being used. You can read it over there. If you want, you can go ahead and check all the size. Like here is going to be the one size which I prefer is B2S. What or if I want to say B2MS, what it is going to give me? It is going to give me the two virtual CPU core over here. With that, your if I will show you here what I am getting in total, I'm getting two virtual CPU cores over here. I'm getting your RAM of your 8 gigs. I'm getting a data disk, how many data disk I can add. So to understand it, for example, if you guys have a CPU, you are using a PC architecture, you will be familiar that first thing is that there is going to be the multiple slots for the your hard disk. Okay, so one disk that I will be selecting where I will be installing what your operating system, that is going to be called your OS disk. Now, apart from the OS disk, this size is going to give you a temporary storage of 16 gigs, a temp storage, OS disk plus temp disk. Now, apart from that, you can have four more disks with you. Just like imagine it like in your PC, you have the four more slots to add a hard disk, right? So you can add four of the hard disk onto your PC system over there. It is similar to that. Now it will be supporting premium size of the disk, and monthly and estimated cost is somewhere around 5,228 over here. So you can choose this particular size of the machine as well if you want, or if you want to go ahead and select from any other family like B series version 2 is going to be over there. You can select from there as well. Let's say for example B2S2V your version 2, which we are already selecting over there. You can have that as well. You have this another option as well, that four virtual CPU core you want. Which one you want, you just have to decide that which particular CPU size suited best to you, cost and everything. You can go. You think that the B series will be better for you, you can go, you can select the B series as well, that I want to select this B series over here. It's just up to you which size. So size could be different in the different region. Like I'm selecting East US, there could be your West US, there could be your something like your Central India, different regions and zones are there. So you can select your size. Like I'm selecting the B2MS, select the size. I'm happy with that. And yes, here I have to give the administrative account name, username and password. So create any username or password that is suitable to you, and it will give you the instruction that it should have capital letter, small letter, at least 12 character, all these things. You will use those username and password to log in into the machine over there. Okay, so I am selecting all these things, allowing inbound port number 3389, so that I can make RDP connection over there. Next, I will go to the disk, leave everything right now as it is. Okay, we will be going over here, and what we will be doing over here is we are going to go ahead and we are going to select something like OS disk like this, leaving everything as it is, going to the networking. If you are happy with the virtual network name, happy. If you want to change anything, you can change things. Like let's say that I don't want this name, I wanted the name is your AZ500 webinar VNet only. Not this VM in front, I want AZ500 webinar and capital V for the VNet I want. So I can give it this one. The range of this network is going to be the 10.0.0.0/16 over here. Now I can divide it into the multiple subnets. So if you are familiar with the concept of subnetwork, subnetting, you can divide this network into the multiple subnets as well. So let's say first one I want to give subnet 0. Second net I want to create something like the subnet 1, and its address range will be 10.0.1.0/24. Like this, I can create another subnet in this one, subnet 1, subnet 2, and then its range would be something like 10.0.2.0/24. It is going to be all these things that is going to be in there. So subnet 0 is going to be in there. We'll be selecting that, okay, and selecting the basic, and here the inbound. And next we'll be going into the management, and then in this management there is going to be leave it everything as it is, as you are new to this one. I'm not going to give you any suggestion do this or do that. Only in the monitoring part I will be saying that disable the boot diagnostic unless you are in the production environment, and just because it will be creating a storage account and you will be paying bit extra. So I would like to avoid this situation, and going on to the next advanced tags, then review and create over here. And then we are going to go ahead and create a virtual machine on this particular part. Okay, so we are just verifying the machine and its credentials, that what is happening. Okay, so deployment now is in progress. So everything goes good. And what happened is we are starting with this something like your, I would say, deployment of the virtual machine is now on the go, and it is going to go ahead and it is going to create a virtual machine. So within 1 to 2 minutes, you will be seeing a new particular virtual machine running over there. Okay, so we are just going to wait around 1 to 2 minutes and you will be having a new VM at your disposal. And then we will be learning about that RBAC, which we were talking about yesterday, that each user or group can have access to this. Okay, so let me just first create this machine and then I will show you that RBAC part, and then use of NSG and everything at one single go we'll be seeing. Okay, so just wait for this to complete. Okay, usually by now it should have deployed, but looks like it is loving us a bit too much over here, and the deployment is still in the progress, and it keeps going on and on, right? Usually you will be seeing it is usually take around 2 minutes of time to go ahead and work around with this one. So, we'll be doing what in the meantime. Okay, so what is there? So we created resources, and in the meantime, I will discuss about a few simple things that is there while we created this machine. What happened with this? Let me just talk about bit theory in this part, and let me use my whiteboard over here. So what happened is one thing that you need to do whenever you will be creating a particular virtual machine in Azure, you will be creating it with the help of one thing that will be mandatory. You need to create a virtual network, VNet, what we call it. So in this example, we are calling it the VNet 1, which is having a range of something like your 10.0.0.0/20, oh, sorry, /16. Now, this subnet, I have divided it into the multiple of the, this network I divided into the multiple subnets. Okay, so let's say that this one, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here we have deployed these three subnets. So, they are going to be the one. So for example, the first subnet was your subnet 0. Okay, and that subnet 0 was having the range of your 10.0.0.0/24. So this was something that, we started with. So then there was the another one subnet, which was your subnet 1, which was having this range like this over here. And then there was the your finally there was what there was the your subnet 3 as well. Okay, so subnet, sorry, 2, and like this we were having the your subnet divided over there. Now what we did, first thing that was mandatory was to deploy this virtual network. First thing that is necessary if you want to deploy a virtual machine, right? Why? Obviously, so second thing that we have deployed is going to be your virtual machine. So it is going to be a VM that we have deployed. So this virtual machine was what? This is my second resource that we have deployed. Now, to connect to this virtual machine, we will be requiring a network. That's why the second resource that we deployed is going to be a VM. Now, remember I was telling you that just like if you have a Windows operating system, that operating system is going to reside into your disk. So for that purpose itself, we are going to require a disk itself over here. And that's why the third resource that we will be deploying is going to be our operating system disk. So what we required an operating system disk, which is going to keep my operating system. So every time this machine will be loading up, so what it required? It required a space from where it can start booting up. So that third thing is going to be your OS disk, which is simply attached to my virtual machine. Now, these three things are in there. Now, fourth thing that will be required once you know you have a device, you start booting it up. Now, one thing is how your device is communicating with your network. So in our devices, we have something which we call the network interface card, NIC. So here as well, a virtualized version of the network interface card is going to be in there, which we'll be calling the network interface. So virtual network interface is going to be again attached to my particular virtual machine, and that is my fourth resource. So these four resources are mandatory when you'll be creating a virtual machine in Azure. Now, what happened is that because I'm going ahead and I want to connect to it, like I'm sitting at my room over here, my PG, and I'm just simply waiting, the machine to create so that I can connect to that one. So if I want to connect to that machine, which is deployed onto the Azure data center, so this machine required one more resource. So in cloud, if you're familiar, public IP address is get deployed as a resource. So here, one more thing that is going to be deployed with the default settings is going to be your public IP address. That is going to be your fifth resource, and it is totally an optional resource if you want to deploy it or not. And it is going to be attached to your network interface card. Similarly, the sixth resource, because now publicly I am accessing it, so I want to give it a bit of a protection, bit of a security. So the sixth resource that I'm going to deploy with this one, which is again optional, but we will deploy it, is going to be called your NSG Network Security Group. Now, this is going to be your sixth resource that is going to be deployed over here. So while I was creating this virtual machine, six resources get deployed: your virtual network, your virtual machine, your operating system disk, your network interface card, your public IP address, and your network security group. So these six resources, these got deployed with my particular virtual machine itself. Now, just to show you this, okay, now I am actually a bit confused. It is still showing me that deployment is going on. And now this is a bit worried, and I refreshed the page and I got to know that virtual machine got deployed. Okay, I think that page got stuck somewhere. Now, if I will be going into the something like resource, so you will see that I'm right now on the virtual machine over here. And this virtual machine is VM AG500 webinar, which is part of this resource group which we created. And if you will go inside this resource group, you can see all your six resources over here, which is going to be your here. Notice this. So what I was telling you, first thing that is going to be created is virtual network. Second thing that got created is your virtual machine. Third thing, I was focusing on the disk. Here is your disk. Okay, this is got here, this get deployed with it. Fourth thing that was mandatory was your network interface. So this also get deployed. Right. Fifth thing, I was saying public IP address. It is also here. And sixth thing, which is going to be, to protect your network, is going to be called network security group. So network security group today also we are going to focus, which is like your basic packet filter firewall. Okay. So if you have to compare it with some security, that is going to be this, your basic packet filter firewall. So today this is also going to be our task for or focus. Now, when I was trying to deploy a virtual machine, I got to know that there is total of six resources that I have deployed, and all those six resources is part of my resource group AZ500 webinar. So one of the benefit of creating a resource group is all my related resources are in one place. And now once my task will be completed, I can do one thing, delete all my resources over there so that I don't incur any charges or unnecessary charges over here. This is my primary goal with this particular scenario over here. Now, when we are talking about this whole scenario, this whole work, this is going to be your one thing. Now, with this particular scenario, let's just move ahead, and we will be talking about. Okay, let me erase this drawing. Let me go back to the virtual machine, and this is my virtual machine. Now, this is what a resource that I created. And if you will see that I can easily see that there are resources like 6 resources at least that I created over here. Now, if you remember yesterday in my Active Directory, which is now Microsoft Azure Entra ID, we have something like another user with the name Rajiv, right? So for that Rajiv's account, if I'm right, that was the Rajiv account. Let's just check it out. Okay, this was my Entra ID, and there, if I will be going into the something like your users, what we were getting, yeah, Rajiv's account, right? So there was, I think, I might have minimized it somewhere. Okay, this is the Rajiv's account. Okay, in front of you, this is the Rajiv's account that we created, which is part of our same Azure subscription, and not the subscription, I would say, but yes, same account that I'm having right now. Now I refresh this page, and when I'm going onto this one, what I'm going to get, I will be going into the your here all resource function, and I will see, I am going to see that Rajiv can't see a single resource. Okay, good. Again, let's just go to home. Might be some glitch there. So go to the resource group. I can't see any resource group over here. Now, this is quite concerning. So what is actually happening when you are utilizing the, if I will go back to my main account, okay, this is my main account over here, which is a user your monkey D Luffy. Okay, so I'm at this place, and what is happening with this one? When I am at this particular part, like I'm utilizing this Azure webinar over there, and I am creating these resources. So when we were talking about the RBAC yesterday, that there is going to be the role-based access control. So Rajiv's account we have created, but Rajiv does not have any permission, any authorization to see any of these resources that are in here. So what we are going to do, let's do one simple thing that, and again, remember what is happening, that hierarchical model that I was showing you yesterday, that there is going to be a resource group, and resource group is going to contain resources like VM. Here what we have, network interface card, disk, okay, IP address and all. So first I will show you the RBAC rule onto one simple part, which is going to be like this one here, virtual machine. Now on the virtual machine, what we are going to do is, on the virtual, let me just go back to this place, go to resource here. So on the virtual machine level, on the left-hand side, you will see IAM, Identity and Access Management's access control. I will click on add. I will click on add a role assignment over here. And with this role assignment, I'm going to give some permission to my user. For example, if I want to give some privilege rules to my user, so I can select the privilege rule and go to the something like, your contributor rule to your Rajiv right now. I will go there and give this kind of a role over there, that simply give the Rajiv role on the virtual machine. Remember where I'm giving this role? Only on the virtual machine, nothing, nowhere else. On the virtual machine, individual resource, I'm giving this role to Rajiv, that go ahead and you are now the contributor to this virtual machine. Now, okay, we will be waiting around 2 minutes over here, because once you assign the role, it will take around a 2 minute of time to go ahead and work with this one. Huh? So we are just waiting over there. Okay, so we are assigning the role, and come on, it is taking time to assign role as well. On this particular virtual machine, if I will go back over here, sorry, here, so you can easily see that this is going to be your virtual 𝐒𝐬𝐧 500 webinar machine, virtual machine here, and its IAM section. If I will go under the role assignment, you will see Raji has the permission as the contributor over there. So what we are going to do, we are just waiting at this moment, and again I will be going back into the account of Rajiv here, and this time I'm going to refresh the page. So I think we have waited long enough over here, and refresh the page. Now, either, one thing we'll be seeing very interestingly, you can go and check your all resource, and then we can go ahead and check something like your, okay, I will go ahead and check the all resource part. And in the all resource, we will be having your we have VM, only one resource. Okay, so if you will see the difference, if I will go into my main admin account, and in my main admin account, this is my main admin account now. In my main admin account, if I simply go to some place, let me, okay, on the next tab, and go to all resource, you will see a heap of resources over here. Now, if I will do the same thing for my particular uh, Rajiv's account, now I am on the Rajiv's account. So if I will do something same for the Rajiv's account and do all resource, Rajiv can see only one resource, that is a virtual machine. Why? Reason being, on a machine, on the resource level, I have given the permission of the contributor on the specific machine. Even it is saying that it is part of the resource group AG500 webinar. And I click on this one, and you will see no access. Same, go to home, click on resource group, and you're not going to see anything over there, right? Why? Because you only got access onto the one thing, that is the one single virtual machine. So you can go in here as your contributor, you are allowed to start, restart, stop a particular virtual machine. So I will go in here and I will show you that thing with the restart of the virtual machine itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on restart, and yes, over here. Okay, successfully, you can see successfully restarted the machine. So who done this? Rajiv from the Rajiv's account has done this because he was the admin. So he stopped, he restart again. So he did what? He restarted a whole virtual machine over there. Now what I will do, I will go back to my admin account. So I'm back to my admin account. And there what I'm going to do is I'm going to revoke this, I will select this role, and I'm going to remove the contributor role from the Rajiv from this virtual machine right now, removing the role, and go back to the your overview page. Now, after the overview page, when we are on the overview page, you can see from virtual machine, I will go into the IAM part. You can check under the role assignment. I no longer has the Rajiv as the contributor over there. I will again go back to my overview page, and here on my virtual machine, I know now it is part of the resource group 𝐸𝐳500 webinar. I will show you this particular hierarchical model RBAC as well. So I will be in this place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be in the resource group. I will go into the IAM part. Okay. In the IAM part, under the role assignment, you can see nothing is there. So what I'm going to do, again, come back and click on add role assignment. Now, this time on the your resource group level, I'm going to give reader permission only to Rajiv. Okay. So I'm going to give only the reader permission to the Rajiv. Next. And then we'll be going ahead, select member, and then your Rajiv, select it and assign it over here. Review and assign directly this role. So we will wait around 2 minutes over here, and we will be creating this or waiting for this to get complete. Okay. So role has been assigned. We will wait around a minute, and then we'll see that on resource group level, you will have some permission like a reader. Okay. And then what changes on the Rajiv's account will be, we will be waiting for that. Okay. So we are just waiting for this to get assigned, and then we'll be working on with this one. Okay. So we are just going to wait for around a minute over here, and then that's it for a moment. So we have given this permission a few seconds ago only. So we just waiting again. Under the role assignment, now you can see Rajiv has the reader role on where I am right now on the resource group. So one interesting thing, if I will go onto the overview, I am right now in the admin account only. So if I will open this virtual machine in a new tab, and I will go in there, and in this machine, I will go into the IAM part, go under the role assignment. An interesting thing that you will see Rajiv now is the user, okay, who is having a reader role, and scope is you have inherited that role from the resource group level. So if you remember what we did yesterday, we were talking about the RBAC role and hierarchy. So if you remember, there was at the top management group, then there was something like your subscription. So you can have more than one subscription over there. Subscription one, subscription two. Then what you were having something like the resource groups that was there. Resource group one, resource group two, and then you were having the resources over there like VM, IP, NICs, web app. So I was saying that either at this level you can give the permission, or at these upper level or parent level you can give the permission over there. So what we were doing, we were giving the permission onto these particular sites over there, and due to that particular factor, what is happening, first I give the permission on this virtual machine level, next time I'm giving it on the resource group level, and scope is saying that now these resources are inheriting the properties of reader from where, from the parent itself. So that parent child relationship is going to be maintained all throughout all this architecture. Now if I will go to the Rajiv's account over here, this is the Rajiv's account. So in the Rajiv's account, if I will go, you will be seeing that in the Rajiv account now, if I will go to the home, refresh the page one time. Okay. Now I click on all resource. So you will be seeing 6 resources right now. Why? Because all of them are part of Easy 500 webinar resource group, where Rajiv actually got the permission as the reader. Now I will click on resource groups. Rajiv will be seeing only one group, that is the your Easy 500 webinar. If he click on this one, I need to refresh the page. Okay, don't worry, quickly you will be getting the whole access over there. Sometime it might take few minutes to give you the complete permission. So you can go to the resource group, like here, I clicked on the resource group. You can see the complete resources inside the resource group itself. So yeah, sometimes this might be a small glitch, or the time it is taking to show you the resource group. Like right now, if you notice, now it is showing me no, that no access page is no longer working. So you can select resource group, you can go to AG 500 webinar, and you can see all resources. Now from here, you will go open the machine one more time. Okay, virtual machine on the next page, on the new tab. And this time again, I will try to go ahead and restart my virtual machine. And instantly it give me the error that you failed to restart virtual machine. Now, yes, RBAC, no permission, access permission. If you remember, there is one thing that if you go to the IAM section, you'll be seeing that you has been given a role of the your only the Rajiv has the role of reader. So reader does not have any permission to go ahead and change the state of the machine. That's why you are unable to restart that particular virtual machine over there, right? So this is the one of the region that you are going ahead and seeing things like this. So this was a kind of the RBAC that was being done over here. So using the rule, assigning the permission, that was the one thing that I wanted to show you the was today as well. Now that was one thing that we created a resource, and we are playing around with all these things at all at once. And that's all good. Now what I will do is I'm gonna go ahead, and we have created this particular virtual machine, which is AZ500. Now I will simply use RDP, because if you remember, I enable the RDP connection over there. I want to connect to this virtual machine. So I will click on connect. So there is going to be one method which is called native RDP. I will select this method, that I want to use this method to connect to this machine. It is just validating my prerequisite configuration. I'm just waiting for all these things to turn green, and select that I can access this particular machine onto the RDP port. So I'm just waiting for that to get completed. Once it is completed, I'm going to go ahead and download the RDP file. And I have already installed RDP for Mac in my system. So I'm going to go ahead and, if you are using your Windows, automatically RDP app is installed over there. So I'm going to go ahead, click on open this file. And with the RDP for Mac, I'm going to enter my credential. Okay, now I have done that. And what is happening? It is opening a particular RDP connection onto that virtual machine that is created on the Azure's data center. And now it is just loading up that machine. And suddenly, if you will see, my interface changes from Mac OS to your Windows. And it feels like that I am actually having a physical device which is having Windows Server 2022 over here, and it is just in front of you. So this is one of the feature of the virtual machine, that instead of purchasing a physical system, I can create a virtualized environment. I can demand my configuration. I demanded my configuration and I got a machine which I'm using right now. Now this is the server manager page. So if you have worked with this, you'll be familiar. If I want to add rules and feature, I can go in here, click on next, 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 and install the IIS server over here. A simple thing. I will add all these features, keep clicking on next and click on install over there. That is going to be the one of the part over here. Now this is going to be your installation that is being done over here. So this is being installed. It will take again around 1 minute to 2 minutes of time, and then it will be installed. Now, why I'm showing you this thing, you will got to know in a moment. Okay, done. Right. So installation succeeded on my machine, and I'm going to click on this, close this installation. Now think about one thing, guys. What I'm having a virtual machine which is having a and public IP address right now, which means it is there. I have installed the IIS server onto this one as well. Now, what is ideally going to be in there, that if this is a public network and I'm sitting over here and you guys are sitting as well. So all of us now, if we want to go ahead and access this IIS server on this public IP address, so ideally it should be accessible, right? That we can go ahead and access this particular virtual machine or this IIS server on here. So it is totally under our control. And yes, we have done all this configuration. So what I'm going to do, let's just do one thing. I will be going back onto the your uh, main page again. And in my main page, what I'm going to do is, okay. So in this virtual machine, if you will see the public IP address is this, I'm going to copy this public IP address. I'm going to paste this over here and click on enter. And now you will see that, ideally it should have given me some, ISO page. For example, like what, if I will go back to my Windows machine and open the Edge browser to check over here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, because I have installed IIS server just to check that on this machine properly, because I was where I'm in the Windows Server 2022 system right now. So I just want to make sure that I am having the proper configuration over there. So I can either type localhost or I can go ahead and type 127.0.0.1 onto this particular a browser over there, and it will be giving me the idea that whether or not it is going to my particular server was installed into that or not. Okay, so okay, 7.0.0.1, and I will ping this one, and you can see that ideally I should be getting a page like this. So I'm pinging myself on the port number 80 over here, and I'm seeing that yes, ideally this is installed, but when I'm trying it from the my base machine, from my laptop, it is giving me I can't reach this page. Okay, so even if I'm trying it with the account of your Rajiv's, means from the other browser, I paste it over here the IP address, you will be still not getting any page over there. Reason being, one simple thing. So if you remember in this diagram that I was using, what I was telling you, that what we have is something called the NSG, okay, which is your network security group. So we'll be talking about the network security group now, which is doing what? A network security group is going to limit your virtual network traffic over there, and it can be associated either to a subnet or to a network interface. So right now what we have done on a network interface, I have gone ahead and attached a network security group. Even if you want to connect it to a subnet, Okay, you have that choice that you can connect it on the subnet level as well. But right now I have selected it and attach it to the your network interface card over there. So it is, it can associate on the both places. Now you can use any security rule to either allow or deny a network traffic that is going to be in there. So there is going to be some default inbound and outbound rule that is going to allow virtual network and load balancer, all other network, that is going to allow virtual network and load balancer traffic and all other network traffic to get denied. So what it means, I will show you this thing, don't worry. So when I'm talking about the NSG, this is going to be the first thing that they are talking about. Now, if we will be seeing this thing practically, so this is my virtual machine, and in this machine I have attached something like the your NSG. So for to check that, I will be going into the networking page. I'm the networking page right now. So in the networking page, you will see that here to my network interface, this is my network interface. There is a network security group with this name is attached to my network interface. Now, this is the inbound rule for that, particular network security group. So these three are the default rule. And when we were creating the machine, we allow the RDP connection, if you remember. Due to that, the first rule that you are seeing is created over there. Now, what are these three default rules are saying? The three default rule is saying, allow the traffic from the virtual network. First thing, okay. Second thing, allow the, again, allow the traffic which is coming from the your Azure's load balancer. So these two things, is allowed. What it means, it simply means that if I will take you to this diagram, if, for example, if there is a third, another virtual machine in another subnet, another virtual machine in another subnet, the first default rule is saying allow VNet inbound, means if traffic is coming from within the virtual network, you are going to allow it. And this is what is happening. We are allowing the traffic which is originating from the VNet. Second thing, if there is any Azure's load balancer that is sending the traffic towards this NSG, allow that as well. That is the second rule. So two different allowed rules that is in there. They are that. So this is what they were talking in the, your slide as well. So when I was talking about the slide, if you remember, so it was talking the same thing. Let me just erase all the sync. So you will see there are default inbound and outbound rule, which is allowing virtual network and the load balancer traffic. Apart from that, all other traffic should be denied. So if you want to check this out, you will be seeing this over here. So two are allowed, and third is saying these are two default rule. Third default rule is saying deny or other kind of the inbound traffic. On top of that, I created a rule which is saying RDP should be allowed. Now in here, you can see there is a priority. So priority should be between 100 and your 65500. Now lower the number, higher the precedence. Okay. So if I will create a rule with the 100 priority that deny all traffic, that will take the higher priority. Then even if on the 300 I am having RDP connection, it is also not going to be allowed. Why? Because 100 priority is saying deny all traffic. So same thing we will be doing now. And due to this these inbound port rule, what is happening, when I was trying to ping it on the public IP address, my traffic was getting blocked. So it is working like what? It is working the NSG network security group. It worked like a basic packet filter firewall. And if I want that you guys and I also can go ahead and access this particular uh, public IP address and this server over here, public IP address server. So what I need to do is I need to add an inbound port rule over here, which I'm going to select that from where my traffic will originate. Right now, I'm going to make a very, very simple rule, not a very secure rule. I'm saying the traffic is originated from a specific source or any source. If I want to give a very specific IP address or only my IP address, that only my IP address should be allowed. So I can change these things as well. Okay, I want to give my organization IP address range. I can do that as well. Right now, I'm going to keep source from where the traffic is generated, any. Then from that particular source, from which port the traffic is generated, I'm keeping wildcard. So how many ports we have? 65536 port from 0 to 65535. So I'm saying that from the source, it is originated from anywhere. I'm not bothered about that. It's good to me. Then destination, again, I'm keeping any. And now which service you are going to allow. Right now, you can select custom. I can change any port. I can give it the port now like the 65520 like this. Okay. Or I want to give the port number 125. I can do that as well. So with the custom, I have these flexibility. Like if I want to allow the traffic on the port number 80, I will type port number 80. Then I can select which protocol I am allowing or denying. So first of all, my action is allowed, that I am going to allow traffic on the port number 80 only, but for the TCP protocol, nothing else. So I can select like this as well if I want. Or from the drop down under the service, I can select a list of services that I'm going to allow from here, right? For example, I want to utilize HTTP. I can directly select HTTP. So as soon as I select it, it will say port number 80 is going to be allowed only for protocol TCP. Priority of this rule is 310. If you want to change it, you can change it. It's up to you. Name, if you want to add anything, I'm happy with the rule, like allow any HTTP inbound traffic. Happy with that. And simply going to click on add over here. So I'm going to create a security rule over there. Okay. And as soon as I created this rule, this is going to be added over here for the port number 80. So we allowed it and it was actually quite fast. Now I will go back to my overview page. I'm going to copy this IP address. I hope, usually you can wait for around 30 seconds to 1 minute after this. I'm not waiting. I'm just simply deploying this IP address and try to access that web server by myself. And let's see that whether or not it is giving me the page. So now look like I should have waited, but no issue. Let's just try it out. Allowed to go ahead and access this particular IS server. So very happy with that. So guys, what we have seen creation of a resource like a virtual machine, giving the access via the RBAC, seeing the different effects of it. And further down the line, what we have done, we have gone ahead and we have tested out onto the your particular concept of your uh, you know your NSG network security group, its inbound rule, how we can control them. And if you will see, there is going to be the also the option of your outbound port rules as well. That not only the incoming, but outgoing rules also we can control over here. So when we are talking about them, you will see there is going to be the rules like deny, which is going to be all the deny all outbound. And here it is going to get over the your deny. Now allow internet outbound. So the traffic that you are sending to the internet, is that allowed? Yes. Allow your VNet outbound within the virtual network. If you are sending a traffic from virtual network to virtual network, means locally in the local network, is that allowed? Yes. So similarly here as well, three default rules that is going to be in there. And very interesting thing about the your default rule is you cannot delete them. Like if you want to see here, no option to delete. If I will go to the inbound port rule, select this rule, no. These three default rule, you can't see that you can delete them. But if you want to delete the rule that you have created, they are going to be accessible. So this is the difference that is going to be in your particular uh, machines over here, right? So this is the very first thing, accessibility, all these things that is going to be in this particular part over here. So this is the very first thing, first scenario over there here, in this particular part. Now, this is the very first thing that we have seen on the NSG. This is a packet filter firewall that I was comparing to. You can also compare it to the something like your stateless firewall as well, if you want to compare it. Okay. Now, if you want to have more feature-packed firewall or your stateful firewall, so that feature is also available in the Microsoft Cloud, and that Microsoft Cloud feature is going to be known as your particular, uh, that feature will be known as your Azure Firewall. Now, when we are talking about the Azure Firewall itself, this Azure Firewall here, okay, so these are the two things. So if I was talking about this network security group, first type of the firewall which we talked about was a stateless NSG. And if we talk about its implementation, it is saying NSGs are evaluated independently for the subnet and NICs. An allow rule must exist at both level to traffic to be admitted. So what is happening? If now you have seen what it is saying that, well, you can use more than one NSG. First NSG is attached to your network interface card. Second NSG is attached to your subnet level. Okay, this is my subnet. So it is attached to subnet. So what happen is, for example, here we are going to take the example of that account Rajiv. Rajiv is sitting here. Rajiv want to access this particular server. So what is going to happen is he is trying to access the server. So first, when he will be reaching out, he will be reaching to the NSG, which is at the subnet level. So it is saying what? At the both level, traffic should be admitted. Means Rajiv's traffic first should be allowed by the NSG2, then it will reach to the second NSG, which is attached on the network interface card. Again, you will say that allow me to go ahead and access that machine. You will see, check it out. You will say, okay, good. Now you can go ahead and access the server over here, right? So this is going to be one after another over there. So both should be allowing over there. Else, what is going to happen? Let's say, for example, the traffic it reach from the NSG2, it reaches, try to reach to the your, here you allowed it, but you blocked it at the NSG1 at the NIC level network security group. You will be unable to access that web server again, right? So we need to allow this on the both level itself, and you can add more rules if you want, and you can troubleshoot for effective link, what is working, what is not. That is going to be in there. So this was the NSG, which was the kind of the your stateless firewall. Now, for us, what we have, if you want to use a more feature-packed firewall, that is going to be the feature of your Azure firewall itself. Now, when you are talking about the Azure firewall, one thing that you need to keep in mind that Azure firewall, while you are dealing with the Azure firewall itself, this thing it is going to be a stateful firewall. And just like you purchase a firewall from the different vendors, what usually happen? There will be more feature and you need to pay more. Same will happen over here as well. So Azure Firewall here is going to be a cloud native and intelligent network firewall, that is going to provide the security services, and it provides the best of breed threat protection for you, for your all cloud workload that is running in the Azure. It is fully stateful firewall as a service, which is built in with the high availability and unrestricted cloud scalability. It provides both east-west and north-south traffic inspection itself. Now, if you will see, there is actually different tiers that is going to be in this one. So actually there is one thing, if I have to divide, there is going to be three. One is going to be the Azure base firewall, which is having very basic tier. But in standard, you will be utilizing two tiers, firewall standard and firewall premium itself. Now, when we are talking about the standard firewall, it is going to, Azure Firewall Standard is going to provide your L layer 3 to layer 7 filtering and threat intelligence feed as well from the Microsoft cybersecurity team. So threat intelligence based filtering, it can alert and deny traffic from or to your known malicious IP address and domains, which are updated in real time to protect against new and emerging threat. Now, I hope all of you are familiar with the terms like this threat intelligence, right? So in simple layman term, for those people who are not familiar with the threat intelligence, What is that? That is simply kind of, intelligence. Okay. So you might have seen spy movies and all. What they always have, they have always an intelligence agency, which give them the input that, that let's say that, people are trying to attack you from this direction, they are going to attack you and something like that, right? So what is happening in this particular kind of a scenario is that when you will be having, something like this happening over there, that you got the intelligence that someone wants to attack you. So you will be prepared from that end. Similarly, you will be having some known malicious IP address, fully qualified domain names, that these URL is used to spread malware or to, connect and hack your system or any malicious activity. So already if you have the idea, you can go ahead and block those IP addresses and user. So that's why the standard tier is having these two features only over there. This is the offering from the Azure Firewall standard over there. Now, if I will talk about the premium, Azure Firewall Premium, it provides advanced capability, which include your signature-based, IDPS, okay, intrusion detection and prevention system. Is in simple term, I can say it can go ahead and based on the signature as well, it can detect that which file traffic is malicious over there, which is going to allow the rapid detection of attack by looking for the very specific patterns over there. Now, these patterns, they can include byte sequence in network traffic or known malicious instruction sequence used by the malware itself. So these are the more than 58,000 signature in over 50 category, which are updated in real time to protect against all new emerging exploit over there. So these exploit category, it include things like the malware, phishing, coin mining, Trojan attacks. So what is happening? This has the feature like IDPS. In addition to that, you can do something like URL filtering. You can do the web category filtering as well. You can do the TLS inspections of the traffic that is reaching towards your network. So, this network traffic that is going, you can do TLS inspection, category URL filtering. So more feature will be given to you with the your Azure Firewall premium tier. Okay, simple thing is means if you pay more, you will get more features of the firewall, just like the any other paid solution like Palo Alto or anything that you are having in your organization as well. So it is going to be in there. Now, to be honest, to this firewall and whole demo will be a very lengthy kind of a thing, but I will give you a simple tips. One thing that you will be deploying a firewall where into a virtual network, first of all. Now that VNet must have a subnet which should be completely empty and its name should be your exactly, if I have to write it, okay, let me just write it down here. Okay, okay, again. So like I was creating this subnet one, subnet two. No, if you want to go ahead and create a particular firewall, so what you can have a VNet, okay, and this VNet should have a subnet. This should be a virtual network, and when you have a VNet, this VNet should have a completely empty subnet over there. Name should be your Azure Firewall subnet, right? Name should be exactly like this. Okay, and you should not deploying any other resource in there. For example, if I will show you, we just created this easy 500 webinar virtual machine, right? Now this machine is part of this network, easy 500 VNet, you know. Now what you need to do, you need to go to the subnet and then you need to create something like a new subnet, which will be having exactly the same Azure firewall subnet. Okay. Now leave everything as it is, simply going to go ahead and create a subnet, add a subnet, and that's it. Now, in this one, you will see name is exactly like this, capital A, capital F, and capital S. Now, once you have done this thing, on the left-hand side, directly, you will see the firewall option. You will see no firewall has been deployed. So I'm going to click here to add a new firewall. I'm happy with that. I will add a firewall. And in this one, you will see that we need to provide a firewall name, Azure Firewall. webinar. Right now, my machine, if I will talk about this 𝐒𝐶500 webinar machine, it is where? In the East US. My network is where? In the East US. So firewall also need to be in the same location. So I will select East US. No availability for this one right now. Now here, firewall SKU. Okay, SKUs are your just like plans. So they're basic, standard, premium. Premium is costly, so I'm not paying for that. I'm using a standard tier. Now, there are two ways of implementing it. One is the older way, which is the using the firewall rules classic. New way is using the policies. So when you'll be creating a policy, I think I created one policy already. I created a firewall in advance because I know it take around 15 to 20 minutes to get deployed. So we don't have the luxury of that much time. So I created one in advance. So if you want to use that same policy, you can use it, or you can create a new policy over here, like policy 2001. Okay, and in the same region like the East US. Okay, like this. Now choose a virtual network. I will say use existing virtual network. There is going to be the 𝐒𝐶500 webinar VNet, and then add a public IP address. I will say that add a new public IP address. Firewall require a public IP address, so you will go in there, public IP address over here like this. Okay, and then you can go to the tags, review and create, and you can create it. Although I'm not going to click on create because already in advance I have deployed a one particular one. You can click on create, and a particular firewall will get deployed to you, right? So that is going to be one thing. Now, what I have done already in advance, if I will go in home and go to all the source, you will see that I already created a firewall with the firewall test. Okay, so I will open it onto the new tab, and you will see that this is going to be my firewall. Okay, this is my stateful firewall that I'm going to have over here. Okay, now you will see in the overview of the firewall, you can see that this firewall is working with the policy demo. Okay, policy name, policy demo. Okay, so if you will see overview page, in the overview page, now if you will check it out, okay, what is going to be in there? Guys, I hope you guys were able to see how when I was trying to create the firewall, because yeah, obviously it was showing me that there was some network error and my screen was frozen. Okay, so if anything is missing, you can drop me in the chat box that you haven't seen that how to create a firewall. Okay, so here if you will see that firewall is having firewall policy attached to that. Okay, first thing is that. Then, you know, some simple things like IDS, IPS feature, it is telling you that threat intelligence mode, how it is, because I have choose or opted for your, I think, standard policy. So it is telling me that TLS inspection, IDPS feature, they are not supported with this policy. You need to have premium policy for that. Okay, policy demo is attached. So this is that policy demo. If you want to open it from here, you can open it, or directly from here. If you want to go ahead and open it in a new tab, you can do that as well. So this is going to be my policy section. From here, I'm going to create all these rule IDS, IPS, TLS inspection, which is not available to us. Reason being, reason being that I haven't opted for the premium tier of this. So I will be simply going with this something like, you know, your rule collection section. Okay, it will be, there will be no rules. If you want to create, you can start creating rules. So you can start with something like the application rule. So in the network, if you are in there, you want your machine that it should not send the traffic to the internet and block the internet traffic, you can do that. Once you have done that, now you want to add rule one by one, that okay, because there is no collection rule, you know, so you'll be creating them. So you'll be starting very first time when you'll be creating, you'll be creating a rule collection in the very beginning. You'll create the rule collection. Rule collection name will be rule collection of the application. Rule collection of the application. Now it is application type of a rule. Its priority again between 100 to 65,000. So you can give it something like 1,000. And you can say either you are going to allow or deny the traffic. Then you can say that, you know, let's say for example, you want to allow the traffic from the Google. Right now I'm writing application rule. So you can select the source IP address. That source IP address, for example, my machine, which is my VM1, it is working on the 10.0.0.4. This is the IP address of that machine. And I'm saying it can go ahead and use the protocol like HTTP, HTTPS, and because we are on the not having the premium tier, I can't enable TLS inspection. So I would say destination type FQDN, happy with that. I'm saying it should be allowed to go ahead and access the www.google.com, something like this. So I can create a rule like this and click on add and keep adding the rule over there. Same for the rule collection, I'm having over here application rule collection. Okay, you can utilize that. You can have network rule if you want to go ahead, port, protocol, that kind of a thing you want to define. You can create that same kind of a rule based on the name, source address, destination address. And if you want to create something like DNet rule over here, you can create those rules as well, just like any other firewall. These options are going to be available to us with the help of this stateful firewall onto the Microsoft Azure. And there are more features. When you'll be deep diving into this, you'll be finding out about the firewall, how it will be working over there, more in that over here, right? So this is going to be my our particular resource groups over here. Now, while we are talking about this whole scenario, this is just a quick overview onto the Azure and Azure Firewall. That is the part of this. Now, apart from these all scenarios, this is the firewall on the network and network protection that we were dealing with. Now, in terms of security operation, what Microsoft is giving, they are giving a particular feature which is going to be called your Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Now, if you guys are familiar with the Microsoft Defender series, there is a whole complete Defender series, which is like your uh, Microsoft Defender for, if I would say, yeah, Microsoft Defender for Microsoft Defender 365 series, Defender for endpoints, Microsoft Defender for cloud apps, Microsoft Defender, cloud apps is different, and Microsoft Defender for cloud is different. There is Microsoft Defender for Office. There is going to be the Microsoft Defender for IoT. So there is a whole series. But in Azure Cloud, what we have the your Microsoft Cloud, your Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which is your cloud. More in general, if I have to talk about this, this is going to be a cloud security posture management tool, which is in general known as your CSPM tool, Cloud Security Posture Management. Now, if you have a free account, you can activate 30-day free trial. After that, you have to actually pay for that. Okay. So this is going to be the one thing. So when we are talking about the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, this is in Microsoft Azure. Remember, this is not the part of the Defender 365 security features. Okay. In there, you will be finding a CASB tool. Okay. That is, if we are talking about the Microsoft Defender for cloud apps. Okay, what is that? That is a cloud access security broker tool. That is a CASB tool. And this tool that you are seeing here, it is a CSPM tool, which is cloud security posture management tool. Okay, this is a very basic, subtle difference between the two. Now in here, when we are talking about the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, this is going to give you the features like CSPM, Cloud Security Posture Management, and even Cloud Workload Protection Platform, which is known as the CWPP. Okay, Cloud Workload Platform Protection. So two options it is going to provide you over there, and not only for Azure, but also to your on-premise, to your multi-cloud like Amazon, AWS, Google GCP resources. You can go ahead and check that CSPM and the protection for those resources as well over there. Now it covered two things, like I was telling you, security posture management and workload protection over there. Now, how it is going to be a different, I will give you a quick overview of the same. So for that, if I'm going to with my this demo account, which I recently created for you guys to show you the demo. So on the top left corner, you will go to the Defender for Cloud, and in there, you are going to see it is asking me to upgrade. Okay. So if you will be not upgrading, you're not going to get the whole idea over here, but this is how your Defender for Cloud, it looks like. So what I'm going to do is, finger crossed, I will be having something like your my MCT account. Just allow me a minute. Uh, if I will log out from here. Uh, okay, I'm already using 2 to 3 browser. I'm going to require one more browser of mine. Okay, where is my Safari? Okay, finally got this one. Let me just copy paste my username and password and the sign in. Okay, still the sign in. Yes. Okay. So as you can see, I got MFA. I have enabled the MFA onto my MCT account. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the MCT. Right. Okay. Now I'm logged in over here, and hopefully something interesting into my MCT account over here. And here you can see what it is. Very first feature that you are seeing over here is going to be the cloud security posture assessment over here. Now it is giving me a kind of the score that how much secure my infrastructure that I created on the top of Azure portal here, that is going to be in this particular part itself. So when we are talking about this, this is representing that particular scenario over here. So when we are talking about the Defender for Cloud, the cloud security posture management feature, it is going to provide you following. First, visibility to help you understand that your current security situation that you are in right now, like it is telling you the what is your security score. Second, it will give you the hardening guidance. It will help you to efficiently and effectively improve your security, that how I can improve my security over here. So these two features it is going to give in, going to give us over here. So if I will go back in here, okay, let me just take you to here. This is my MCT account, guys. Okay, oh, recently it got renewed. So around $150 every month I got in my MCT account. So here, when we are talking about this particular scenario over there, so you will see that it is just going ahead and it is assessing my security posture as saying I'm 51% secure. Okay, and now if you will check it out over here, that right now I have the only connected Azure over there. If I want, I can go ahead and I can connect my AWS GCP as well over here. So it is working with the multi-cloud solution as well. Okay, now with this one, what is happening? One thing we have done. Another thing, this is one thing. Now, first is it is giving me the insight. Second thing, can help me to go ahead and improve onto my security. How? If you will see, there is going to be the recommendation. So there is going to be something like this. You can select that what I need to do over here. This is my secure dashboard. And in my secure dashboard, there are 32 recommendations that is being given to us. So we can go to the recommendation section, follow them, and it will make us, do the network hardening, device, multiple hardenings over there, operating system, workload hardening, everything. I will go in there. It is asking me to do something like enable MFA, which I completed, and it is giving me 100% of the 10 score for that. It is completed here. Second thing, it is saying secure management. You can go ahead, open all these recommendation. So there is going to be the recommendation like this, that internet facing virtual machines should be protected with the NSG. If there is any unhealthy or healthy resources, it will be giving you all the idea, because all the machine are that I am having is protected with the same. So I don't need to be worried about the same. Second, where I am, it is completed, it is unassigned. Second thing, management port should be closed onto your virtual machine. So only one machine, which is your VM10-2 is having that. Another machine, they does not have that. So if you want to remediate it, it will give you the manual remediation task as well. What you have to do and how you'll be achieving it, links to understand it, to work with it. It is going to give you all those scenario all at once. That is going to be the another task that you are having in this particular scenario over here. So it is giving you that idea as well. So it is giving you the recommendation so that you can harden your network as well as we keep moving ahead onto this particular part. So it is completing the features of your, this is all in the cloud security posture assessment, helping you with the insight of your postures. And you can see, there is something like regulatory compliances on the NIST PCI DSS. It helps you to achieve the regulatory compliances as well. If you will go onto the something like environmental settings, now here you can see that what we can have, we can connect your GitHub and now the GitLab as well. There is Azure DevOps connector, GitHub, Google Cloud Platform, AWS services. So you can go ahead and you can, onboard all these resources over there and you can monitor them as well. Even though if you want to onboard your on-premise machines, you will be having this option of direct onboarding as well in here. So we have all these resources over here, which we are working with, and we can directly onboard our resources over here. And this is something that what we are having with the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. We have seen its first feature. Second thing that I want to show you, it also has the second feature, that is the cloud workload protection. For example, Microsoft Defender for cloud coverage. What it do, if you have servers, if you have Kubernetes, container, app service, key vault, Azure SQL services, storage, it can go ahead and it can monitor all these services all at once. And then if someone tried to, let's say that if your app service, someone tried to do the SQL injection, it can give you the alert for that. Okay, now it can protect all these resources, give you the idea, give you the insight what is happening over there. All these things it can perform. And just to show you this some example over here, what is actually happening, if I am right into my account, I will go to my MCT account. In the past there was some security alert for me. So on the left hand side I will go to the security alert section, and what you guys will be finding out over there is, okay, now if you will see in this page, a lot of the alert you will see that is going to be in there. So, okay, first thing is that there is the alert. Okay, now why these alert is there? All this is the feature of your cloud workload protection. How? Okay, simple thing. Let me show you for one more thing before these alerts. If I will go on to the part of your workload protection over here. Okay, I think on this screen it is not quite visible. So what I will do, I know actually what happened is, I don't know why the resolution for this particular tool is a bit, how say, different. Okay, if I will show you here, okay, let me just show you on this page. If you will see right now onto this particular part in here, so you can do something like vulnerability assessment. I can enable VA onto my machines that I have created. I can enable just-in-time access. I can do the your SQL, if I have SQL database, I can monitor them. I can onboard your on-premise system. I can check them as well. I can do container image, file integrity monitoring, lot of features. So while it is doing those kind of a scenario, and if any attack happen, it is going to give you the security alerts like this, that there are multiple kind of the, alerts are there. Like if you will see that it is telling me that in my, actually I created some forensic environment in here, and that's why I was using a lot of multiple dual purpose tool onto my machine. It detected them and it is giving me the high security alert. And you will open any one of these two, alert, and read the, this description. What happened? You can go to the detail and check it out. It will be telling you that it find a particular tool into your system, a tool like, here, a file with the name winrar.exe, which could be used by the attackers and the defense people both. Why it is in your system? It should not be over there. It will be reading it, something like that. So like here, because I was doing some demonstrations on the digital forensics, So here it is telling me that there is the Mimikatz hack tool that was detected in the device, and the help of this file name, it was affected file that you find is this one, why it is there, how you are, why you are using it. It is indicating it is a malware that it is into your system. It has find it onto your system, remove this thing. So it is protecting your, resources as well. Even someone try to do the IP address, which is some IP address which is known for blocking. So they were trying to access your machine. So try to go ahead and block it. So the traffic was blocked and it is giving you the alert over there. So this kind of a activity can be done by your Defender for Cloud. And this is the one of the features of your Defender for the cloud itself. So this is something that is one of the feature regarding your, if I would say, so when I was saying that we are going to go ahead and we are going to have these kind of options alert as well with the help of your Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So now I think you guys have a better idea that what is happening over there. Not only that, we also have the Azure Monitor service as well, which is more of what all the logs that you will be collecting. It is kind of a consolidated service that is going to be in there, which is not only the security service, but it is for why there. It will give you the insight, anything happening with your resources. It will give you the metrics, the chart, performances of your resources. It will give you the logs, which you can investigate, generate the alert. You can create charts for them, graphs from them, alert from that, right? Not only that, like it give you a very simple kind of the your resources or features as well. That is, for example, if I will show you in here, we can go onto the your monitor service and it will give you the service health as well. If there is any something like a plant, okay, and plant update changes, and you have resources. Let's say in East US we have a plant maintenance. It will give you the issues over there. That is there any plant maintenance? If there was any issue in a specific zone, your resource was affected, it will give you the alert regarding those as well. So it will give you the whole health history and everything that is going to be in there. So it will be giving you those alerts. It will consolidate everything at one single place that you are going to have. That is going to be the Azure Monitor service. I can create alert like someone started a machine, stop a machine, network traffic going out, memory is less, memory is low. All these things can be helped through the your Azure Monitor service. And one last thing for today's session, that is going to be the Azure Key Vault. Now, let's say that you want to store or securely keep your usernames, your passwords, okay, your certificate, your keys. You want to generate some key based on the RSA algorithm, okay, a key pair you want to generate. So for that, what you can utilize a service known as the Key Vault, which is a cloud service for securely storing and accessing your secrets. Secrets could be your password, which you'll be calling secret. Okay, you can have keys, and even you can have the certificate stored over there. So to increase the security and control over your keys and password, we will be using something like Azure Key Vault, which is using a Federal Information Processing Standard FIPS 142 and level 3 validated hardware security modules to generate your key and store it. But not for everyone it will be available. You have to select the premium tier, and then you will be able to use HSM to generate keys and your storing them as well. Now, apart from that, you can create your encryption keys within a minute and use them over there. And it will help you to reduce latency with cloud scale and global redundancy. From anywhere, you can keep your keys, you can store your keys, you can utilize them, keep them secure over there. And that is going to be the task of your Azure Key Vault. And if in a quite quick scenario, if we want to go ahead and see that, uh, okay, this is my MCT account. Let me just minimize this one. And let me go back to my main demo account that I was using throughout this day. So if you have to create a Key Vault, you can create a resource. You can go in here, there will be the option of Key Vault. You can click on create. Simply you have to do nothing. Select your resource group, give this name Kiwi Easy 500. Okay, you'll give this one where you want to create pricing tier, again standard and premium. Premium has the support of the HSM backed key. If you want to recover the key, let it be like this. Go to the your next scenario. Access configuration with the vault access policy means who should have the access of the keys, who can access your key, who can access your certificate, which application, which user. You will decide it with the help of vault access policy. Next, I'm going to allow the access from everywhere right now, keeping everything as it is, going to the next tags and next review and create. And you can create a key vault where you can go ahead, generate a key, delete a key. It is just up to you that what you want to do with the key vault over there. Okay, and it is not showing me the access complete or anything, but this is the function of the key vault. Just like if some of you has worked with this something like your HashiCorp's key vault. Okay, if you have worked with the HashiCorp's key vault, you will be seeing, you'll be familiar that it will be a software kind of a key vault services, which is going to help you to store your secrets like your password, your certificates, and your key. Even if you want, you can go ahead and generate the key as well. So simple possible thing we are implementing it here right now and just simply creating a service over this place. Okay. So this is the one last thing for the day that what we are seeing over here.